Hi Walt, this is a demo video showing you how to edit some simple text things on your website. I'm going to show it to you from the login point all the way through, and I'm going to try to answer kind of common questions that people have when doing this. And again, if any point of this is too much for you or you just don't have the time to do it, please just contact me and I'd be happy to handle any edits that you've got in the future. Might just be easier, or maybe you'll have fun doing it and you'll enjoy doing it. So I'll be emailing you the login page, which is what we're looking at here, and your login credentials, which is your username here and your password. It's also associated with your Gmail email address, so if you ever get locked out or you forget the password, you can just click this, lost your password, and look for a message that'll show up in your Gmail account. So I'm going to enter this in here. I'm going to click login, and it's going to take us to a dashboard, and there's going to be, as you see, it's basically nothing here. This is just a really quick overview of what we've got in the site. Over on the left, we've got a menu bar that's showing posts, and posts are what we're going to use for any of the new press releases that you have, or any news clippings, or any of the new press materials that we want to put in there. That's where that stuff lives, and you probably don't need to deal with that. I just want to explain what all these things are. Media is any photos that we have on the site. We can upload there, or we can access other photos that we've already got. Pages is where you're going to be working the most in this. So pages are going to be every page that we've got on the website that aren't the press things, which are in posts, and which are not various products from your shop. So you won't be able to access your CDs that are for sale, the arrangements, and things like that. So next along, we've got comments. You can completely disregard that. That's nothing. Completely disregard projects. Actually, all of this stuff, you don't ever need to look at it. All you really need to look at is pages. I'm going to click that, and I'll show you what we've got in there. It's a long list of every single page on the website. Um, Again, except for any of the products in the shop. So this is just the what we call static pages of the site. So about, the main arrangements page, your books page, and then we've got some things associated with the shopping section. You'll see cart and checkout, your contact page, your photo gallery, the home page, music and CDs, past tour dates, and tour dates is probably going to be the things that you're going to be editing the most. But that's, you can access all of them from here. And if we click on any one of them, I'll just click on the title here of tour dates. It takes us into the back end of the tour dates page, so you can see where you are right here. That's the page title. And it's going to take just a second to load up here. So if you can imagine the website as using kids building blocks, I'll show you what the front side of it looks like. But at the top of every page, we've got a big header where it's got a big title that says tour dates. So that's what that is there. And then we've got an image. On this page, we had an image of you over on the right. We had a quote about you traveling around. And this block here, which actually I'll retitle it for you so that you'll see that. Dates. I'll show you what all this stuff is. So we can label each one of these little modules, these little building blocks, and it's kind of cool because you can also take your mouse and it turns into this crosshair. You can pick up things and drag them. So if you want to move things around, you can do that. I don't think you'll need to be doing that. Probably shouldn't mess too much with the structure of the pages, but you can do that if you want to. Every one of these modules also has a little X on the right. That means delete. It's going to kill it forever. So you probably don't want to do that, although it is not the end of the world if you do that accidentally. I have done it before. If you were to do that, it's got a little undo button up here, this little back arrow. So if something bad happens, you can usually do that and it'll bring it back. So let me show you what's in these modules. So for instance, you can open up any one of them by clicking the three stacked lines. So I'm going to click on this top one so you can see what's in it. So it opens up and it says the giant title on this page is tour dates. So we don't need to change that. Everything looks good there. So I'm just going to click save and exit. That saves this one module. It doesn't save the page overall. So this is important to remember. I'll open up the next one so we can see what's in there. So this one is sort of a subheading and it says 2018 performances. So this might be something that eventually you'll want to change when we get into next year. You might want to just change that to 2019. And this is pretty neat because this is just really simple Word editor. It's much like Microsoft Word and probably some of the other editing things that you've used. You'll see that we've got bold and italics and bullet points, numbers, and left align, center, right. This one does links. So if you were to highlight some text, you could actually link it to some other page of the website. Um, this is nice, really big text, and the site has different styles or headings. So the biggest, nicest one that we want is called heading one, and that's what this is. But you'll see we've got other ones to choose from too. So they get smaller as you go down in numbers, or rather, as the numbers go up, um, the size gets a bit smaller, as you can see. So we're not going to change that heading one or change the style, but you can change those numbers if you want to. And once you do that, we can just click Save and Exit. So again, that's saved that one module. And then this is probably going to be where you're spending the most time. I'm going to click those three lines. It opens up this module, and this is where we've got your performances. So again, this works like any Microsoft Word, or you may have a Mac, the Word editor on that. You can just type in there. You can do bold and underline and all those things you should be able to access from right here. I'm going to click this button here, which is going to expand it with a bit more tools if you ever need that. This little thing toggles it in and out like that. Um, so you can put your mouse at the end of this line and maybe hit enter, and it makes another bullet point where you can continue to type. And then if you needed to, perhaps we want to link Miami-Dade jazz faculty to perhaps their website or someplace to get tickets. To do so, you'd need to get the link for whatever their website is, and then we would just use the mouse to highlight that text. And then we're going to choose this little icon here, which is a link. It looks like a chain link fence. We're going to click that, and you would paste that link in here. I'll just type something. We'll pretend that that's our link. And then to attach the link, we're just going to click this blue button for apply. So now when you click away from it, you'll see it turn blue, so that means that's linked. But since I don't want that, I'm going to click this button here that says it's like breaking the link. We're going to break it. Now it's just plain text again. So that's how you can do that. And if you wanted to erase any of these things, just like any text editor, just highlight it and click delete or backspace on your keyboard, and that'll get rid of it. And that's kind of all you need to know in there. Once you're done editing it, we're going to click Save and Exit, and that has saved just that module that we were dealing with. So let's say that you're totally done, everything looks good, you like it, or maybe you just want to save it just to get a look at it. Once we're done making any changes on any page, over on the upper right, you're going to see a blue update button on every page. Let's click that button, and that's going to save everything that you did on here. It'll take a second to spin around as it saves, and then once it's done, I will show you how to take a look at that page as a viewer. So at the top of every page, you'll see a couple ways to access that. It will be up here. We can click View Page, or after you've updated a page, it'll show this little notification that says Page Updated, View Page. This link goes to the same place, so it's just your preference, whichever one you want to click. I'll click that, and we'll get a look at it from the front end. So here's what that page looks like. There was our big tour dates heading, and then there was our 2018 performances, where maybe one day you'll change that to 2019. And then here's all of our dates, and these green things are the links. So one thing to remember is that when you're editing in that back end, you never have to add any kind of colors or styles or try to make the font bigger or smaller, because the site is actually set up to already use your style. So for instance, all of your links on the site are green, part of your color scheme. So you never have to try to make some link that you've made green. The only thing you'd have to do is bold like that. So you can choose to do regular text or bold text. So that's kind of what that page looks like. And then I'm going to show you something interesting if you want to skip around the site. You can, once you're logged in, and you can tell that you're logged in because this bar up here, this black bar, is going to appear, and it'll say "Howdy, Walt" up in the corner, so that you'll know that you're logged in. And only you, when you're logged in, are going to see that. Your visitors will never see that. So let's say you've got something new that you'd like to update on your biography. you can actually just click any one of the pages just like a regular visitor, and it'll load up your about page. And as long as you're logged in, it will give you the option to go ahead and edit this page right now. So you'll see right here, edit page. Let's click that. And when you do that, that's going to bring us back into the back end. So this page is just like that other tour dates page, same deal. We've got that big header, and that was the thing that said biography or about Walt there. And then we've got just two columns of text. We've got two blocks of text. And maybe there's something you wanted to edit about the most recent part of your biography. If we click the three stacked lines, it's going to pop open that module. So this is kind of the very end of your biography. Maybe you've got something exciting and new that you want to put in there about what you're currently doing. You can just hit enter and begin typing. And if that looks good, which I'm going to erase that because we don't want that. Once that looks good and everything is updated, maybe you need to change something that's in here, but once it looks good to the eye, you can go ahead and click save and exit. And that's saved that one module. And then let's go ahead and click update, and that's going to change. That's going to update the page overall. So it says great, page updated. I'm going to go ahead and click that so we can take a look at it from the front end. So here it is, and we'll pretend that you added something down here. That's where it would appear. That was that column of text that we were working with. I also want to show you another way that you can edit. Some people love it, some people hate it. So you can do it the way that I just showed you using the back end, or if you visit any page, you'll see edit page. That'll take you to the back end like we just did. You'll also see this option in purple, enable visual builder. I'm going to click that and I'll show you what it does. For pages that just have really basic text, especially like your biography page, it's a really simple page, it's just got text on it. This might be a nice option for you. It might be a little bit easier. So what it's going to do is, I'm going to tell it I want to just start building, let me in. You'll see it takes a few seconds to load. It's a little bit slow. And it'll load up the page, and sometimes things might look a little bit funky on there, but that's okay. It doesn't really look like that. It's just kind of loading in that way. Okay, so here we go. So see, it kind of, it looks weird, but don't worry about it. It really doesn't. It's just trying to load it, and so it looks a bit funky on this back end. As we move the mouse around, you're going to see different colors popping up. So the site is built in sort of stacked blocks. So it's saying this entire block in purple, that's that header. The neat thing though is, instead of going into any weird blocks or anything, you can actually just click in this text and start typing. Now isn't that cool? So if you wanted to change that, you can change it that way. And same deal with your biography here. I can just click at the end of this text, hit enter, and start typing away. And you can actually see it just as a visitor is going to see it. You can make edits in here as needed. I'm going to erase that. So I kind of like this for pages like this, where I just want to see the text and see what it looks like. It really helps to see it in this sort of live view. It's some people don't like it because as you move around, these little things pop up, because there are lots of settings that you can mess with in here and see all these things, and a lot of people don't like that. So it's really a personal thing whether you don't mind it or you might prefer the back end way a little bit more, but this might be good for you. So let's say that you're finished editing this. What you're going to look for is this purple circle down at the bottom that looks like nothing. And that's another thing that's kind of confusing. It looks like nothing, but I'm going to click it and it expands some options here. And you can disregard all of these things here. The only thing we're looking for is down here, save, in the lower right corner. Let's click save and it'll spin around. Once it's done and it's saved successfully, you'll get a little check mark like that. So that shows that it's been saved. And if we want to get out of this so we can just view this as a normal person, we'll just click exit visual builder, and that'll just take a second to refresh, and it will show us this is exactly the way it will look like to a visitor. So we're back to normal here. And again, if you saw something else that you missed, you can go ahead and enable that visual builder and do that again. Or if you prefer, we can just click edit page, and I'll do that again to show you. And edit page will bring us into the back end. Take a second to load. And then we can, again, open up any one of these modules and edit what's in there, save and exit, and then we'd click update. Another kind of a neat feature that this has got is inevitably, blah, you will probably do something wrong and you'll say, oh no, I really messed it up. Well, what's kind of cool is if you scroll down on any back end page, you'll see revisions. So this is pretty cool because it sort of automatically saves as you're working, but every time that you've hit update through time, or the times that I've done it, months before, it saves a copy of it. So if you've done something really bad, we can actually go back to one of those last saves and resurrect what was there. So it's not the end of the world. That works pretty nicely, and I use it all the time. So it's a really good tool to have. So let me click View Page to take us out to the front of the site, so we can look at that again. So any page we visit, maybe the contact page. If you needed to change any of this text, again, you'd have the option here. If you want to click Edit Page, it'll take you to that back end view if you prefer that, or you can try to work with that visual builder that way. In fact, that might be a nice tool on the tour dates page. So I'm going to go ahead and click Tour Dates. And let's see what that visual builder looks like here. So we'll click Enable Visual Builder and give it a few seconds to kind of do its thing. It'll spin around and it'll take a second before it looks normal again. So here we go. So maybe this is a better thing for you. It's up to you. Maybe I'm going to add something after this event. I'll hit enter. It automatically creates a bullet point when I do that. And I can type something here. If I want it to be bold, I can highlight the words that I want to be bold and click bold, that little B. I can underline it like that. You can make it bigger or smaller, which on this page I wouldn't recommend. It's good to just keep to this simple style that we've got. So that's kind of a nice option for this. I'm going to get rid of this here because we don't want this to be on the page. But let's say that we liked what we did and we're done. I'm going to click the purple circle at the bottom. It'll expand the options, and then we're going to click Save. I'm waiting for that check mark to appear. There we go. And then we're going to exit the Visual Builder to get out of that stuff. Also, when you're logged in, if you need to get back to that dashboard, to the back end, at any time you can hover over your name in the upper left, and it will show the word dashboard. So I'm going to click that. That'll bring us all the way back to where we started, where you've got these options here. And it might be handy if you click pages, you can kind of see every page you've got, if that's useful to you for any reason. And again, you can edit any of these pages the same way. So if we wanted to maybe get back to your, maybe the contact page, you want to change something on it, we can just click that title contact, give it a second to load up. Automatically brings us into the back end of the site. There we go. If we want to change the text on there, we can open up one of these modules. And maybe you'd want to change what that says. You can go ahead and type. Click Save and Exit. If you think that's it, we're just going to click Update on the page overall. Spin around for a second. And there we go. It says Page Updated. I'll view the page. That'll take us back out to the front end. I'll show you this a few times here, so it'll be repetitious for you, and it might sink in a bit more. Maybe we want to do the Visual Builder. So again, we can click this purple Enable Visual Builder. And again, this is totally up to you, whether you like the back end or this Visual Builder. So you can feel free to play with it and see what you prefer. So here we go. If we wanted to type here or something, we can just type that way. I'll erase that for us. So we've made our changes. We're ready to save it and leave the site. We're going to click this purple circle, and we're going to click the green Save. Spin around, wait for it to give us the check mark. There we go. So I will exit the Visual Builder. You don't have to do that. I just like to do it just to double check and make sure everything looks as it should. So you can work on any one of those pages there. The only reason that I didn't think it was wise to give you access into the shop is because there's a heck of a lot that can go wrong in there, and even changing periods around in there can sometimes mess with the functionality and the PayPal and all that stuff. So um, they're easy to use for me. If you've got a new album or if you've got a price change or something, it's really easy. If you want to just send me the edits for that or whatever the new album is, I'm happy to add that in there for you. It's really easy and it'll save you the heartache of trying to learn how this shop thing works. So I think that's about it for now. I hope that makes a bit of sense. Please email me or feel free to call me with any questions you've got. Maybe 6 months from now, you'll be editing this and you'll completely forget. So feel free to reach out then. I hope this video will be a good refresher for you then. So good luck. Let me know what you need.